So I've got this regular tower here. It won't turn on when I hit the power. I'm not getting any lights, I'm not getting any fans, no noise. It's just not turning on. I think it's the power supply. So let's hop right in. Alright, we're looking at the back here. So the side that we want to work on, it has screws right here and here. And what we want to do, I've taken the screws out already. It's not the same side as where the motherboard is. It's this area here. Take that side off, you're not going to be able to access anything. This is the power supply, and that's what we're going to take out. Let's take a look here. I've already unhooked this cable. And what we have here is the power supply. Okay, so you've got a cord here that connects for the CPU. You've got the main connector to the motherboard here. You'll have a connector to the hard drive and the CD drive if you have both of those. So let's get those unhooked. There's a little tab right in there. There we go. And this tab right in here. You see that tab? It's right there. Move the cable. There's that tab. You have to push down on it and then pull up at the same time. It takes a little bit of force sometimes. I'm wiggling it. There we go. Got it pulled out. And the cord came out for the CD drive also, optical drive. Okay, let's get that stuff out of the way for now. Next we're going to take off these 4 screws. Okay, last one. Alright, so this just lifts right out. Okay. Next, we get out the new PSU, power supply unit. This is an EVGA 600 watt bronze power supply. When they are rated 80 plus bronze, it goes up silver and gold above that. But if it's not at least 80 plus bronze, then it's not as good a quality. This is a good rating for one of these. And I don't have a major graphics card. This is just a really rudimentary graphics card. This is not a big gaming rig. The processor I have is an AMD FX 8350. It's 8 core and 8 core several years ago. So it's going to be drawing the most power, and I think that's what caused the other power supply to fail. But let's pop this new one in and see if that does the trick. Let's take it out of the package. Okay, what we've got inside here, this one is semi-modular. So with these semi-modular power supplies, you've got different power. This part will go into the PSU, and you've got the part here that goes into your hard drive or your optical drive. This is a SATA power connector. You've got these other ones that are a Molex power connector, the old style. And for your CPU, for your GPU, you've got these. More SATA. Always a power cord. You end up with having thousands of those left over. Now, this one here it's semi-modular because this is actually the main motherboard connector. It's wired in there. It doesn't come off. It's not a separate cord. So let's finish taking this apart. Alright, we've got the plastic off of there, and you can see right where they plug in. And each one is only going to plug in one way, so it's going to be pretty obvious how to plug it in. You also get some screws in here. These are coarse thread screws. You also get some of these Velcro straps to help make all of your wiring nice and neat inside your system. But yeah, and the other cord too, I said it had the motherboard power cable. This is also, it has a CPU power cable, both wired in there, because they know you're going to need those. So, and it's also, you can use the 8-pin or the 4-pin CPU connector. You just have to put those together on your board, depending on what you have. But like I said, it only fits one way. It'll be pretty obvious. Now some of these are different. This one here has the screw holes. You can see the screw hole there, and there, and there, and there. And so that's going to match up with the holes here on the system. And see the one there that is kind of offset? That's going to line up with the one. And see, all the screw holes are lining up there. So that's what we want. You can put, you might have it in upside down if it's not going in the right way. You also want to have the fan somewhere that's blowing, not like against the edge of your case. And all the writing is the right way. If we're looking at this, up here's the top of the computer case. So the writing's the right way for this. And a lot of times you have the wires that are against that wall of the case. So looks like everything's in there just right. Next thing, we're going to put the screws in. I got all the screws in. They were a little tight. I didn't actually use the screws that it came with. I just used the screws that I took out of the other one. They work fine. They're the same type of screw. Everything seemed to be threaded in there right. But yeah, that looks all right. Okay. So this is where you would plug in your motherboard main power and your CPU power right here. One of the cool things here is this is made to hook up two different types of motherboard power connectors. The only ones I see nowadays are with all the pins. So it's got these little arrows here where they kind of squeeze together, otherwise you can take them apart like that. But you want to have these together for almost any kind of motherboard nowadays. It will take a little bit of pushing to get it in there properly. Make sure those are connected in there like that. This makes all one nice continuous. And you put it in there. And you just want to push down. It'll flex the board a little bit, but I think you can hear that pop, and that latch is in there good. You can't pull it straight up now. So that part's in. Let's move over here. Okay, so you've got your two connectors here for your CPU. If it's wrong, it's not going to fit. Okay, kind of in the light there, but you can see. So now we need to figure out where to put these cables out of the way. You don't want them hitting any fans, especially your CPU fan. That's pretty important to keep clear. We'll have to think about that when we put the other cables in. This wire can go over here. A lot of times we hold them together like that so that stays clear, and this we can pull back, and we can even strap it to through one of these loops here to keep it away from the fan. That's pretty important. Okay, for your SATA power connectors, let's get those ready. You've got a SATA end on this semi-modular power cable, and you've got a connector here that says SATA. Let's put it in SATA 1. Now, I only have two SATA devices to power on this PC. So I will just plug in the two with this one cable. You can share, two devices can use one cable, that's not a big deal. Alright, I've got the first connector in right here, and the next one will just go right here. Alright, so make sure everything's tight there, and we'll need to connect our other SATA data connector right here that we unhooked earlier. Now time for some cable management. So this particular power supply came with these Velcro straps. Sometimes it'll come with plastic zip ties, and that's more what I'm used to, but this will work just fine. And like I said, you want to have things away from your fan. That's the most important thing. If you want it to look nice, that's important too. But the most important thing is keeping it away, keeping the cables out of the fan so that it doesn't get stopped and then you have overheating issues. Here's what I did. I ended up, there were only 2 Velcro straps, so I used one here, keep everything kind of pulled up that way, and I used one here to keep this pulled away. And even when the case is sitting, it's not going to fall toward the CPU fan or anything like that. It's also not going to get in the way of any of the airflow. I think the airflow will still be moving just fine through here. Alright, I've got the side panel back on, and we're ready to fire this thing up. Let's see if it works. And we get our lights, and we get our fan noise, and looks like all it was just a power supply. Alright, great. Thanks for watching.